Klaus Schwab or Charles sits in a leather-bound chair hidden beneath a mountain covered with trees and grasses. Beside him is his faithful servant, Clara, who wears a black dress that accentuates her curves. The two are listening through headphones to their latest agent's report. "My master," she says excitedly into the headset. "Yes?" asks Charles quietly over his shoulder, not taking off from what he was doing. A large computer screen shows graphs of various economic data such as regional unemployment figures or sales growth for specific products. His attention never leaves this information because these statistics will be used against other countries later if needed. But right now, they're being helpful. A woman enters wearing a short red dress, which clings to every curve and line of her body. Her name is Gaia, goddess of nature, Earth Mother, firstborn daughter, great green woman, who looks 40 years old despite having lived far longer than most men could imagine. She has seen almost everything there is to see since the beginning of time. She takes off her long green coat, revealing an intricate tattoo across her back, shoulders, arms and chest depicting the earth itself surrounded by plants growing inside circles representing mountains and seas. There's even a little face within each process. These markings represent those who serve the goddess in one way or another. They protect nature while simultaneously allowing humans access to it, providing them with food and resources. At least until today, Gaia stands behind Charles as he types away at the keyboard, occasionally tapping him on the shoulder to ask a question about something important. Gaia turns her attention towards the window overlooking a forest where birds fly overhead, singing sweet melodies. She thinks of her lovely dragon, whose scales match the color of her hair. He lives in the treetops above, waiting patiently for her return. But first, she must fulfill her duties here upon the surface. Then, as soon as she does that, she'll go after him again. Charles suddenly stops typing. You can see a flash of anger, fear, and desperation in his eyes. A map on the screen shows the entire world covered in pink triangles indicating areas under the goddess' protection. To his horror, some nations show no signs of obeying his commands. Countries such as England and China refuse to give more land for farming purposes. Others like India ignore his requests altogether. And then there's North Korea, although the country doesn't exist anymore thanks to the godlike powers granted to Gaia by Zeus. No matter how hard they try, Gaia cannot reach Kim Jong-il in his underground bunker below the ground. Perhaps someone should send help? What do you suggest? Gaia asks calmly. But Charles isn't paying much attention to the conversation between him and Gaia, instead focusing entirely on the laptop. His fingers dance across the keys faster than before, sending orders directly to Gaia without using words. Then, with a loud hum, several new windows open showing various satellite images taken from space, along with maps highlighting locations around the world. Several red dots appear on the monitor, marking cities that Gaia needs to focus on immediately. Then, finally, a list pops up listing all the politicians involved with the government in the chosen area. Each entry also includes personal details about them, including age, family life and political affiliations. One particular man catches Gaia's eye, Hugo Chavez, president of Venezuela. Taking over the world has been easier than expected. Now, all she needs to do is use her divine power to force everyone to obey his command. If only the others would listen, maybe things wouldn't end up this way. After all, she gave him everything he asked for: wealth, money, technology. What else did he want? Did he think she'd bring about Armageddon? Wasn't he grateful enough? Why didn't he understand that she was trying to save humanity from extinction? Charles is still ignoring the goddess and keeps working at his own pace. He taps on one key too often, causing the whole system to freeze completely, making Charles jump. I'm sorry. He apologizes. The goddess walks over to him, placing her hand on top of his, reassuringly squeezing it. No worries, says Gaia soothingly. You were very busy. The two stood silently together for a few minutes, watching the monitors and listening to music from speakers scattered throughout their private office. Finally, Gaia decides to speak. "Why are we doing this?" Gaia whispers. "Is there anything I can do to make sure you're happy?" It's not what anyone expects to hear from Gaia's mouth, but Charles understands precisely why she wants to know. All gods have free will and can choose to follow their creator into oblivion or stay true to themselves. Since the beginning of time, Gaia has tried everything possible to keep herself alive and continue serving humanity. But now, after centuries of constant suffering, Gaia finds that her existence alone makes other humans miserable. When she sees how people suffer because of her actions, it hurts. Every single day. Even if they don't realize it yet. So Gaia asks Charles once more, "Will you allow me to die peacefully?" For the second time, Charles shakes his head. "That won't work," Gaia continues sadly. "Because my death means nothing without meaning something. My final act has to be worth it." She looks down at her lap, ashamed. Her heart aches. Yet, she knows exactly what she must do. Gaia leans forward until her forehead touches Charles, kissing him passionately on the lips while wrapping her arms around his neck and pulling him closer. She feels Charles' hands run through her hair and squeeze tight. Suddenly, Gaia breaks away, standing straight again with tears streaming down her face. "Do whatever you need to do, make sure the world survives." And with those last words, the goddess of nature falls to the floor. Charles looks at Gaia's body and begins to cry, feeling guilty and helpless. He places both of his hands against his temples, pressing hard. In seconds, Charles is back inside the virtual reality simulation. He runs towards the large computer screen where the image of Gaia lies lifeless on the ground. Quickly typing commands into the keyboard, Charles starts to search for a solution, scanning every file and document stored within the massive server room. After some time, he finally finds it, the answer to Gaia's problem. A simple command which sends thousands of satellites crashing toward Earth. Not caring whether the planet would survive, Charles presses enter on the screen and waits impatiently, hoping for good news. When he hears the sound indicating success, Charles takes a long breath and smiles happily. Everything will be fine now. The human race will live forever. They'll never go extinct. Nothing could stop them from becoming immortal beings. No matter who opposes them. He's ready to start spreading the word and tell the entire population. His plans will begin soon, and then humanity shall rule the universe. And when it comes to controlling people, nobody does it better than Charles. With this new weapon under his belt, he'll surely succeed. He's a globalist, and Charles is a dominant German man, therefore, he believes that the Germans should dominate the rest of the world. That is what he had planned since childhood, even before his parents died in a car accident. Schwab is Dr. Evil, only more intelligent, as he's got something no other evil mastermind possesses, immortality. But first things first. Time to celebrate. Charles turns off the monitor, grabs his whiskey bottle, pours himself a glass, and downs it in one gulp. He thinks about Gaia's sad demise. How much she suffered. What kind of person did she turn out to become? Did she regret ever creating life on Earth? Maybe. If Charles knew her better, perhaps he'd understand. At least enough to feel sympathy. Then again, Charles doesn't care. After all, he's done. Charles deserves to sit here and enjoy the fruits of his labor. Soon, the whole world will belong to him. No one can take that away from him now. Nobody. The story comes to a close with Charles having accomplished what he wanted most in his lifetime, making everyone immortal and ruling over humanity using his manipulation powers. Although Charles may seem like your stereotypical supervillain, he isn't bad at heart, though his methods are pretty brutal and cold-blooded. The moral of this story is quite clear: don't let others decide for you, especially when dealing with religion. So there might come the point in our lives where we're forced to choose between right and wrong. Most people think they know everything there is to learn about morality, but how often do these rules apply? Who decides what constitutes wrong? Is murder morally wrong if I defend myself or my family from another attacker? Does being honest mean lying whenever necessary to achieve specific goals? Or maybe honesty is the best policy after all? Of course, these questions cannot be answered by anyone except us, not because God told you so, nor because someone said otherwise, which seems to happen frequently. What is it that makes groups or individuals obsessed with controlling others? Are humans naturally prone to such behavior, thus resulting in a society dominated by powerful men/women who strive to gain complete power over their fellow citizens and create order amongst the chaos? Yes, it would appear so, but why is this happening? Well, let me remind you that Darwinism states survival of the fittest. Humans must compete to ensure the continuation of their species, which means fighting each other to prove themselves worthy. This is also true of any animal kingdom. Thus, some animals fight while others cooperate. Those who try to work together tend to survive longer and pass on genes to future generations. Thanks for listening to this video essay. Remember, knowledge is essential. Smash that like button, like a boss, and spread the word. Thanks.